Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Ferris, and this is going to be my first responder mental health persuasive speech. And before I start, I'm going to kind of start off with this. Imagine a firefighter pulls someone out of a burning building. They save the victim. They go back to the station. They take their gear off, and they act like it was just another call. No one's really going to see what they carry after the call's over or after many other calls are over. They're going to have the images, the stress, the weight of that call, the weight of every other call on themselves. So I want you to ask yourself, how many first responders are struggling in silence right now? So my question I'm going to ask you guys is first responder mental health being taken seriously enough today? And the answer is pretty easy. Unfortunately, it's no. My three talking points for this persuasive speech is going to be repetitive trauma, culture discourages help, and support systems. And before I kind of get into the three talking points, I just kind of want to clarify my credibility. So, as many of you know, I'm a first responder myself. I'm a firefighter paramedic of close to 7 years. I have firsthand experience with mental health. I know friends who have reported to me that they have mental health issues and they need help. I've known coworkers that have left the job entirely due to PTSD. And unfortunately, I've known people or coworkers that have taken their life due to mental health issues. So repetitive trauma. Before I get into repetitive trauma, I just kind of want to start off by saying this, that on average, or an average person will see 1 to 10 traumatic events throughout their entire life. It could be one, it could be five, it could be 10, but just roughly 1 to 10. For a firefighter, paramedic, EMT, police officer, first responders, they're going to roughly see 9 traumatic events in a year. And if someone does a 30-year career, that's going to approximately add up to 600 to 1,000 traumatic events compared to an average person. So exposures can include fatalities, child injuries, violent scenes like murders and suicides, and even line of duty deaths of their coworkers. Over time, this will lead to potential PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, emotional numbness, and burnout. So culture discourages help. The be tough or suck it up mentality. I remember when I first got on, a lot of the older guys had this mentality. They said, "Yeah, it was a crappy call, but suck it up. It's our job." Or be tough. Don't be a baby. There's also a fear of being seen as weak, a fear of talking. A lot of guys do not want to talk about their feelings. They don't want to talk about the calls. There's a fear of losing your job because they think that, oh, if I can't do this job, I'm gonna get fired, or a fear of not being promoted. Use myself as an example. Say like I had a really bad call, and 2 years goes down the line, I'm not gonna. I have a fear of I'm not gonna get promoted because I didn't act accordingly on a call that happened 2 years ago. And what this creates is silence, which is not good. Being silent, you're just going to kind of keep everything in, you're going to bottle it up. But if you have a water bottle, eventually it's going to overflow. And that's why silence is not good because you need to talk about things, you need to get help. So, support systems. So, the culture makes it difficult for people to ask for help, as I stated before. It's mostly just the older generation and kind of how the older generation was kind of brought up in the service. Departments are not proactive. I shouldn't say, and don't look at it as all departments are not proactive. There are many departments that are proactive, but there are many departments that instead of being proactive, they're reactive when something bad happens, which is not the way to be. And support systems often push people away. I'm not saying that they're physically pushing the person away that's asking for help. A lot of people do not like asking for help. They don't want to talk about things, as I said before. So when CISM teams come in, or when people are kind of starting to realize that an individual might need help, they're going to be pushed away. They're not going to want to talk about it. And I put this picture in here of the IFF Center of Excellence for Behavioral Health Treatment and Recovery. I believe this was built in 2017. And this is where an individual can go if they're struggling from mental health issues, from alcohol dependency, whatever it may be, they can be sent here for as long as they need. And there's an awesome team there that will help them get better. And I believe since 2017, they've helped over 1,000 firefighters, if I'm correct. I shouldn't say firefighters, but first responders. So opposition by fair refutation. So first responders train for this. They know what they signed up for. So yes, they did train for this. Training prepares them for the job, but it does not prepare them for the long-term emotional impact of all the repeated traumatic events that they go to. And knowing the risk does not eliminate psychological harm because just like physical injuries still happen, despite training, so do mental injuries. So concession with reasonableness. It is a fact that countrywide there has been improved mental health wellness programs. 48 states have teams that departments can activate called CISM teams, as I mentioned earlier, which is critical incident stress management teams. They debrief, diffuse, and assist with individual incidents. However, all this assistance does not mean it is used due to the current stigma. I remember one of my first traumatic calls, the department that I was working for activated a CISM team, and I did not like it. There was like about 20 of us in a room. The CISM team was sitting in front of us, and they made us kind of volunteer if we wanted to discuss what we saw, discuss what's bothering us. And I felt extremely uncomfortable. But after having many other debriefings or diffusings, I've realized that it's actually super beneficial. I've seen fellow coworkers say how they felt better after one of those things. And just so you guys understand the difference between debrief and diffuse, debrief is within 72 hours of an incident, and diffuse is within 24 hours or immediately after the incident. So a fallacy or a stereotype, kind of said it before, if you can't handle it or suck it up, don't do the job. And that kind of gives someone two options. They either stay silent or they think that they're not fit for the job, which is entirely not appropriate. We need to get rid of this stereotype and completely normalize that mental health is real and that we need to be more proactive and help individuals. So for my cars and industry expert, for my cars, I use the National Fallen Firefighters Association. They're an awesome organization. They work hand in hand with FEMA, the PFFM, which is the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, and the IFF, who I mentioned earlier in this speech. And from one of their websites, I took, which was regarding mental health of firefighters, I took kind of like a little sentence. It says the number of firefighter suicides is estimated to be at least 100 per year. And for my industry expert, which was from the Massasoit Library, a recent study found that firefighters are more likely to die of suicide than die on the job. These are going to be my resources again. CARS was the National Fallen Firefighters Association, and the expert industry was from the Massasoit Library. So this is going to be my conclusion. Thank you for listening and watching. And before I end this completely, I just want to kind of highlight the importance of mental health. And I know this was about first responders and stuff like that, but please check on your friends, check on your loved ones, check on your coworkers, but more importantly, check on yourself. Mental health can affect anyone, and all it takes is someone to be proactive to save someone's life or even yours. So thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to listening and watching all of your speeches.